Hello and welcome back to the Kerfuffle Podcast, and this is quite a sad episode. We've had to divide it into two parts.
We have.
Why is it sad, Simon? Tell the listeners.
We've run out of money. No, this is the end of our first season.
This is it.
And I didn't want it to end like so many things.
We were only commissioned for 6 episodes initially.
I know.
But I got some great news.
Go on.
We're in talks with a major sponsor. Who are very seriously considering commissioning.
How seriously?
Season 2. Very. I mean, we've talked trailers and what you want in that trailer.
So we might not be off the air for long.
We may only be off the air for a matter of days.
Super.
I don't want
this EA podcast.
I don't want the EA podcast to.
Know your place, special guest.
Anyway, joining us in part 2.
Don't say that with that. That's how you say them.
The lovely people at the EA podcast.
They are. They're good.
But we're going to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
We're going to do this properly. We're going to take it to season 2. We have actually been very, very pleased with the feedback that we've received from all you lovely people out there.
Thank you, Mum.
Keep that feedback coming in. Keep the checks coming in. And Agents for Oz is still open.
Yep.
If you haven't donated.
Yes, it's still pretty horrific over there. So please do donate if you can do.
Get that over to us as soon as you can. And we will get it over to them. So, we are joined by Christian Balshen. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Perfect.
Close enough, David.
That's good. And Mark Bevan from Van Mildert.
Hello.
And as ever, we are joined again by Suzanna Mavity from Acaboom.
Yep.
Hello again. Apparently, Simon's told me I'm Japanese knotweed.
Can't get rid.
He can't get rid of me. I'm here for the whole
I've
episode.
used that about myself, so it's not...
Bad luck to mention Japanese knotweed around an estate agent. Please don't do that.
I know, you get all flustered, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I don't feel comfortable with that at all. Now, Van Mildert. A little bit about the name Van Mildert. So it comes from...
this.
Yeah, well, I've been doing my research, right? So I'm going to guess that it's something to do with Durham.
Yeah, that's right, David. So I grew up in Durham, and we were trying to find a name for the company that wasn't referencesforyou.com or something similar, and it's a name associated with Durham. He was last Prince Bishop of Durham Cathedral, charged with keeping the Scottish out of England, but that's obviously not required now.
Yeah, well,
but that's
you
what
say that.
I think they want out of England.
Yeah, they're not taking it too well.
It's more like keeping the English out of Scotland now, isn't it? No, but that was the aim of these Prince Bishops of Durham Cathedral. So you're right.
It's Bishop William Van Mildert, and the connection that he has to one Simon Whale. Bishop William Van Mildert's... Sorry?
He loves Greggs.
He loved Liverpool FC and Greggs. No, his parents, his dad, Cornelius Van Mildert, was a gin distiller.
I've always loved gin.
You have always loved gin. Yeah.
That's it. They do.
Since
That
about
always
6
goes.
months ago.
That always goes together, though, doesn't it?
So there is
the
a
clergy
game
and
called,
booze.
you know, the 6 degrees of separation from
Kevin Bacon.
With Simon Whale. It's never more than 3 degrees
And I like
of separation
bacon,
from
so
gin.
it works
That's a gin.
perfectly. It works good. Good.
Right. Moving on.
But hang on, you didn't do that justice. It's not just Van Milder, is it?
No, it isn't.
It isn't.
It's also not
potential
Van
new
Milder,
sponsors with
Simon, as you've been calling it.
Yeah. What's it? It's Van Mildert.
It's got a T on the end, man.
Yeah, because Van Mildert is a fashion shop in...
Van Mildert is the same name. It's a fashion shop.
There you
as
are,
well.
so you
and
should
it's
have
a
done
college
that.
at Durham
Something you
Union.
could do with Simon, to be honest.
I think
Oh,
it's great.
okay. Good. That's good. You want to go early, do you? Okay.
well, since we've jumped in there...
Let's talk about the fantastic story, of course, because as of last year, Christian, you did a deal, and a very rare deal, with obviously the biggest monster in the room, Rightmove, didn't you? Which was pretty impressive, considering they don't really do that many deals.
Yeah, I think it was really good timing for us and for them. They've got a huge commitment to helping letting agents, and I think that's something that we can fit in with quite nicely. There's a huge will there to create more and more value for their clients, and we've been working with them for a little while on how to help letting agents get better leads, basically.
Yeah.
And I think it just felt like a
good fit,
good time. Yeah, really good. And just how can we help letting agents grow as part of Rightmove? How can Rightmove use us to help letting agents grow? and it just seemed to be good timing. I mean, we've been talking to them for quite a little while about a few different things, but it just sort of all came together. It was hard work for them, I suspect, but I'm delighted with it, and I think we've got some really good stuff to do.
That sounds exciting. Yeah, it sounds really good. And of course, it also, I'm sure they'll be wanting a route to the market almost to go with with some sort of access to the heartbeat of a estate agency on a weekly basis.
Wow.
So,
if only there was a podcast.
If there was a platform whereby a little amount of sponsorship. I mean, this isn't why we got you on the show. By the way,
it'd be
the
handy.
reason I've got you on the show is I introduced you to Rightmove, and I want my 15%.
It'd be great.
Now, let's sort that out.
That's right.
We'll get onto that.
Until you turned up, I never knew Rightmove existed.
let me give you some statistics.
Okay,
we have 50 listeners at least that all listen to the podcast 4 times.
Yeah.
That's the latest stat. Is that not right?
That's not right, is it?
We're talking to in excess of maybe like 400 people on a regular basis.
But it's the demographic you want. So just don't rule it out now. Come back to us.
You should speak to one of your senior pals at
okay.
Rightmove about that.
He's not answering my calls.
Yeah, it's funny that.
He's in Jamaica. Anyway, and of course, something we should have said. Did we say Suzanna's back on the show?
We did.
We did do that as well.
Us.
Now, I have got a stat for you, Suzanna, if that's okay. Now, what was it?
Depends what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was quite an honest one, actually. Okay, did you know that honeybees can get drunk on fermented tree sap?
I did know that, actually.
What do you mean you knew that?
I did know that.
It affects
Science
bees
and
in a
nature is
similar
my
way
subject.
that alcohol affects humans, causing flying accidents, aka driving accidents, and making it difficult to get back to the hive. Sober bees at the hive will attack the drunken bees to prevent them from entering the hive.
You shouldn't drink in
So
the hive.
It's like a fight.
Is that the message we're taking?
It's like a drunken bar brawl outside a Wetherspoons.
I can feel that Durham king speaking back to me through the ages.
Yeah.
So, Suzanna, have you ever got drunk on fermented sap?
I haven't, actually. That would be a new one for me. I would
WKD.
I would imagine that's more up your avenue, to be honest, Simon.
Bit rude, but thank you. That's all right. Okay, so that was our bit of was that nature, wasn't it?
Do you know
Yeah, I
anyone
like
you
that
describe
little
as a
segment.
fermented sap?
Are you talking about these dukes? That doesn't work, does it? Anyway,
So,
on a podcast.
Christian, let me ask you some hard-hitting questions because I'm the Jeremy
Yes.
Paxman out of the
Sensible.
two.
Or
of
the
us,
edge.
right?
Frost.
Okay, so talk to me, Van Mildert before Rightmove and Van Mildert after Rightmove. Is there a difference?
Expenses policy.
Other than the holidays.
or lack thereof.
Do you know Simon Watton? No.
Yeah, I'm distancing myself from Whaley.
That's true. That's true. We've missed you. We've missed you loads.
Look, I think. Do you mean for me personally, generally, or do you mean for the businesses
well,
where it's
actually,
going?
because we pitched to a wide audience, so we pitched to also suppliers, and we're also talking to agents on a regular basis. But when you're talking to a supplier, obviously the wet dream of a supplier is some sort of exit strategy, and Rightmove is that exit, or was that exit strategy for you? What it's a soft exit because you're back in it, but what does that mean for you, and how did it all?
Sure. I mean, to be honest, it's funny because I thought that there would be a different feeling from owning the business to not owning the business, but it hasn't felt like that at all. I think you sort of realise that what your motivation is at this point, and I think that what I personally want to do, and what I'm really delighted with the team for, is we all want to make this work for our clients as much as we ever did. And if not more so, there's a huge amount of. I read something the other day, and it's about, there's a cricket player saying you got a bit irritated with the commentator when the commentator asked, "Do you feel the pressure when putting on the Australian jersey?" He says, "That's not pressure, that's a privilege." And I sort of feel the same way about this. The pressure or the privilege that comes with needing to grow or wanting to grow this and work hard for our clients. As part of Rightmove, it is quite a privilege, and I'm looking forward to helping helping Rightmove do that. And I think, I don't know, Mark.
Very good.
Yeah,
Textbook
100%.
answer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
He read it straight from a legal document.
That's Miles approved, that is.
Yeah, I don't know what.
That was beautiful.
It was
he
good,
put
it was-
aside all the millions and he just went with the humanitarian angle on
I
that.
have,
My wife's already
I
spent
have
them,
genuinely heard it. I've heard it from his own voice that he really wants to make it work. And for them, I said I'd have been out of there by then, whistling, clicking my heels,
That's
saying,
beautiful.
"Don't look in that box." Why?
All right, well,
No.
more sensible question then. There are a ton of referencing solutions for agents. And Mark and I have had a very brief chat about certain solutions that we use.
Because you're a Luddite, aren't you? Because you just
No,
No, he's,
Well,
he's
no,
not at all. He uses
I'm
a very
more than
techie.
that.
David uses a very good, very techie
we use
service.
Goodlord. And so
Okay.
we have built our process around Goodlord's processes.
Okay.
And certain things we really love. And we tested out a few. I think I've probably... There was one sales rep actually that moved from referencing company to referencing company. David Benyon, if you're out there, hello.
Which one you end up
sales
buying all of
executive
them.
locust. Hello.
Basically, he'd come in and he'd go, "Hey, it's almost Christmas. I've moved again,
Yeah.
and the other lot are shit. So why don't you move with me?"
You're talking to three people who are a repeat.
So we've kind of tried and tested quite a lot of them. Goodlord we like because it has an element that cuts down the amount of interaction our agents have to have.
Because you don't want to talk to the great unwashed.
Well, I think if you can limit it,
I think
it's
they
better
don't,
for them.
Maybe they don't want to talk to the agents. I think
Yeah,
on a
it's
serious note, it's actually
it's a
more the
growing
thing,
point,
you know,
isn't
isn't it? Yeah.
But Van Mildert has always been the sort of Rolls Royce of referencing services. So tell us, why is it different from the others that are out there?
So I think CRM perspective. So we're integrated with a lot of the CRMs, most of the major CRMs, Repit, Dupix, Expert Agent, CFP. Just make one-time efficiencies on that. You know, it can take 1 to 2 minutes maybe to order a reference. So that's, you know, one of our strongholds, and we're building relationships further with them to, one, help them learn more on what we do, and to help them communicate with their client base, to allow us to give those efficiencies back to their clients.
And that was a very definitive strategy from day one, wasn't it? That you obviously went out to the agents, but by getting that all set up with the integration, that was because that's normally the first question that comes back from every agent, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't have any money for salespeople, basically, which was the set the requirement to do the integrations with the software houses. And I think what I really love about them, but you know, why Van Mildert? Fundamentally, I believe that our service and everybody in our business works towards our service, helping letting agents win. And we assume that winning means growing their business by getting more landlords or increasing revenue per landlord. And that's what we try and do. There's lots of other things that we could do to tag on revenue and extra bits of service and things like that. But fundamentally, our tenant referencing service and our rent guarantee service is designed to help letting agents get more clients and help them get more revenue out of each of those clients by providing a better service. I'm sure there's times agents, certain areas, certain size of agents, things like that, where we don't do that. It's a very fragmented market. Sorry. You know, there's 15, 16,000 letting agents in the country, all in different areas, all of different sizes, all wanting to work in different ways, all targeting different types of landlords. And it would be very, very difficult to provide something which helps every letting agent achieve their goal or achieve their aim to win or whatever they consider winning to be.
But that's what your marketing says.
That's but fundamentally, we hope that our service helps our clients grow their business, get more landlords, get more money.
And so when you moved across to Rightmove, one of the big things that Rightmove were pushing at the time was this sort of tenant passport idea. How has that evolved over the last sort of 6-7 months?
Sure. So they've obviously had a great testing process with the passport that they introduced, and learned an awful lot. And it's sort of born out of the idea that at the minute, letting agents waste an awful lot of time, and it's not their fault. It's the way that the industry is set up. So by taking, you know, around about, depending on the month and depending on the area and things like that, there's anywhere between about 8 and 14% of tenants fail a reference. that essentially means, let's call it 10%.
Yeah.
It means 1 in 10 viewings that you do, even if the tenant wants to take the property, is a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
And if you can find that out from your, if you can find that out earlier in the process, not only does it stop you wasting your time, it stops you wasting the tenant's time, and allows you to offer them a property which might be more suitable for them. And that really can quite significantly reduce time. And the reason that I was so interested in that and working with Rightmove on that is because if you want that to happen, you have to drive tenant behaviour and right, you know, you have to get tenants interested in filling that in and in doing that little bit of extra work.
Yeah.
And Rightmove is the place where most tenants find their property. So if anyone can help agents with that,
change that behaviour with tenants. And the tenants signing up to that because they feel it will give them an advantage above other applicants. So if we're doing, I mean, typically when we're doing rental viewings at the moment, we're showing 10 people one place, we can only rent it once.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming it puts one of them ahead of the rest. Yeah,
it can certainly do that. Well, you know, look, I know that it's going to be useful when it's set and it's in there. I think that, you know, that's a very good point. Why would a tenant fill it in? And that's they might fill it in because it can help them get that property. It might fill in because the agent encourages them to. You know, if you're in a property and you've got five tenants in there, four of them found the thing through Rightmove,
yep,
and they filled in some version of a tenant passport, then, you know, that tenant wants it and that tenant does as well, but you can only give it to one of them. But you've got the information available to offer that tenant another property, saying, look, we know you came to see this one because it accepts pets, but this one over here does too, and we know, you know, you've got that information. It helps you put that tenant in touch with a property that's going to be suitable for them. Just goes that little step further. And of course, your guys can gather that information at the start of the process, but it stops them having to do that. You know, your guys have got a lot of stuff to think about, and it's an awkward conversation. Hi, can I see that property? Well, let me take a few details from you first. And when you start asking about the income, it can be uncomfortable for your neg. If we can do that in a way which is very, very comfortable for the tenant to provide, get your neg the information to make sure not only you're not wasting your time, the tenant's time, then that's a great feature, I think.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Mark, just talk us through again your position here. So we know obviously what's he like to work with.
Christian. Yeah, he's...
Did you just go a little bit high pitched there?
He squeezed his leg.
You've worked with some of the best, haven't you? Let's be honest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite boss, Mark? Let's cover that subject. Who's the best boss you've ever worked for?
Don't embarrass them.
I've got 2 seats to the right. They all work differently. They all work very differently.
Really brought him on slow.
Okay, well, here's a question. So you've been in situations where you have to pitch to both agents and also larger corporate entities as well. So really, this brings Suzanna into the conversation a bit as well. When you go out to see agents, what makes the best sort of agent that you can interact with as a rep or as somebody that's trying to sell a product? What do you look for? Who are the people you enjoy working with?
The ideal agents to pitch to are the ones that want change. They're the ones that want to innovate. They're the ones that want to be the market leader in their area and not stick to the old-fashioned methods, if you like. Or certainly that's what works for us at Acaboom. It is essential that they want to embrace new ways of doing things to forward themselves on and stand out from the competition. Not the if it ain't broke, don't fix it crew, isn't it? That's the most dangerous. Yeah, they're not for us. That's not our ideal client. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I love it in demos when they're quite reluctant to move, because it's quite a good challenge.
That's a personal challenge,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it,
quite a good challenge in my eyes to sway their minds.
I presume you like the ones that return your calls.
Yeah, it would help, you know, when you set time aside, saying, yeah, you know, I'll give you a call at 3:00. It does help. We have
had the most phenomenal January. Yeah. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
And I've spent it doing very productive things. And in Feb, I'll find you some time, I promise you.
Found 6 new cakes.
To be honest, on that subject, everybody's saying what a classy January they've had, you know. And we've had a record sales month. We've done a deal a day for every working day.
Fantastic.
30% of those from Kerfuffle. Well done.
Very well.
That's called the Boris Bounce, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, well, it's being called that, yes, it is. And it will be.
It's happening.
For the next few months. And then the middle of the year hits and everyone goes...
Do you want me to tell you the difference between this year and last year? Because we've just completed our kind of market roundup for January. we probably took on a similar number of properties, but it's the number of sales that you're actually converting in January. And that's what we're hearing from agents up and down the country.
The uncertainty
it's great taking them on. January's always been that month where you kind of drive to bring on new stuff, because whoever sort of wins the beginning of the year will see it through to the end.
But classically, a listing is a liability till it's sold, isn't it? So,
correct.
Yeah.
And
when you say converting, do you mean to exchange, or you're getting offers accepted?
You're getting offers accepted. So I suppose if you're putting new stock on the market in January, you're getting those sales agreed. And last year, people were putting stock on the market for fun, and they just were not able to convert, because I think there was that feeling with buyers at the time that there was this sort of unknown and political uncertainty in terms of, we were still very much in the, May government.
So is there a hiatus from the pressure from the online agents at the moment? I mean, obviously, they're going through their own kind of restructuring at the moment, but does that mean out there in the marketplace that they're just absent from pitching for business, or have you just learned how to deal with them?
I don't think they're absent, and I don't think they're ever going away. And I think you keep saying that we're going to see the second wave of the Terminator.
I call it the whale wave, but you can call it something else if you want to. It doesn't have to be massively narcissistic.
Online agent 2.0. I think that agents have had to up their game in order to counteract that, and I think we are getting better at having those conversations with vendors and proving our worth. Fees are increasing, instructions are increasing, and the things that we are having to do to prove that we are worth dealing with, that's changing. So we'll talk about community engagement. So we probably always did it. We never shouted from the rooftops that we were doing it.
That's definitely the case.
And that's happening with all good agents. And I think all of these sort of, we call it making ourselves a bit more cuddly. I am one of the cuddliest guys in our postcode, you should know. But I mean, we're having
like a Jewish panda.
Last week you called me the Jewish Ricky Gervais. This week I'm a panda.
I'm out of ideas, mate. We're 7 episodes in. I'm done.
No, but we're having to change the conversations that we're having with people. We're asking better questions, and we're trying to get better results. But ultimately, it's about getting that across to the customers. And I think that the online agents at the moment, yes, they seem to be,
but their bubble's popped as well, hasn't it? It's filtered through to the. There's no doubt though, the public now are not
as wowed.
They're not as wild, it was almost like every traditional agent, just looked like they were being petty and competitive when they're saying, those reviews are all bullshit and everything else. People are now hearing enough stories, apocryphal stories, or from their neighbours, or have witnessed it themselves in chains to have seen it.
You know what changes them? I think it's people that have had to deal with them from a consumer angle. So if you are trying to buy a property and that property's on the market with an online agent, and I'm not going to even name what colour they might be, but for the viewers at home,
and a vodcast upgrade to the vodcast.
There you go. So, but if you have to communicate with these guys, and our business, let's face it, other than the marketing nice frilly bits we do at the beginning, it's all about communication. That's what we're selling. It's shocking. And so if that process is that difficult for you as a buyer, you then start to think about what that's going to be like as a seller. And I think that's the difference. January's been great. Long may it continue.
So guys, what do you see as the big Proptech challenge then for the year ahead? We've obviously seen Repeat, our old company, bringing out their pass system and everything else. But from your point of view, obviously you're entrenched with Rightmove here. Is your policy you're going to still be outward facing, or does that mean you're going to become a bit more insular?
No, absolutely. I mean, we really value the partnerships that we have with the software partners that we work with. You mentioned Repeat and obviously the others. That works very, very well for the mutual clients that we have. It works very, very well for us. Very, very well for the software partners as well. We have our own PropTech challenge, if you like, of the sort of passport and that side of things. I think that what I'm really interested to see, because I think it looks fantastic, is Christian Byfeld's is it repository, isn't it? Depository. So,
repository is where he shot the president.
And that's a book, repository. Yeah. Got you, thanks.
We'll put this up on the website for people to look at. Two single
links to Lee Harvey Oswald.
And the picture of a suppository as well. I think that looks like a great bit of kit, and what I love about that is it's been built by somebody who is experiencing the problems that not having it was causing, you know. So
you've heard my theory on this, haven't you?
I haven't.
Or you're going to.
Good.
So
Great.
obviously we've had the first, if you like, iteration of Proptech companies, which were techies in ivory towers, brilliant techies, but really didn't know the business a lot, so they'd come up with batshit mental stuff. What you're now going to see, and I think it's going to only be hastened by the fact that finally, you know, with Repeat doing things like PAS, DesRes having the APIs and all the others coming out with it, you've really then suddenly empowered the agents themselves who haven't, let's be fair, they've done it from a reason of frustration. The CRMs haven't met their requirements, so they've created these tools. And suddenly now they realise that there is actually a real business possibility to take that to it. Now, I'm calling this the whale wave. So this might get confusing with the other whale wave we had earlier.
Yeah,
but that's it. So you've got Hyatt Keatons, who's doing his fantastic area tool there, haven't you? You've got, as we've just talking about, Christian's depository there. Who else is there? There's others that are knocking out third-party products as well, aren't there?
Yeah, there's I'll tell you what's really interesting about it. As I said, I don't think that any supplier has found something which nails usefulness for every single agent across the country, and it'll be really interesting to see if agents themselves can actually come up with that. You know, and
because they've been saying it for so long, haven't they? Well, how hard can it be?
And you know, it's a really good point. I think there's some things, like for example, Acaboom feels like it's useful for every agent. You know. Van Mildert service, I think, is very, very useful for the vast majority, but I know it's not for every single agent, you know. But I wonder how the depository, for example, or stuff that agents build will fit into that. Is it very, very focused on their areas and their specific problems that they have with their clients, or is it going to be
leading into that? Actually, there's a bit of a shift as well in CRM. We're seeing Salesforce pop up more and more as well, with
building their own on the back of Salesforce.
So only this week,
they're not going to go away, are they? They're going to slowly take their time.
Some big agents are actually moving over to Salesforce. You know, in the last few weeks, a couple have
very
told me
interesting
that
how
that's
they
where
do.
they're going.
Because is it Property Base is the one that's customised for real estate, as they badge it, don't they? Which has come across from America.
As that's customised from Salesforce.
Yeah, I think I might do without saying Assad from Location, very good agent there. He uses it quite successfully.
I think it's being sold as a cocktail of Salesforce and Property Base together, but it's one and the same.
Yeah, all the Property Base, they just built on the platform of it. So yeah, essentially you get all the benefits, but you get to create it in, which was, being honest, was always the thing that we were worried about in the previous days. You know, Salesforce in its native form, I don't think was ever going to scare anyone because it's too complicated.
I suppose
the quality of data just wasn't going to be there.
I suppose what is quite interesting from the sort of the international businesses like that is the British property market, and indeed every property market across the world has so many of these idiosyncrasies. For where it is can. One system rule them all. And is it worth anyone's time? You know, is it worth Facebook's time to concentrate on everything that you'd need for the UK property market and then do it? You know, when they could just be because
I'm sure it'll be included in one of the trade deals. I'm sure they're not going to forget that, are they?
Yeah.
27,000 estate agents is not going to be left on the sideline.
Well, you heard it here first. So before we wrap up, is there anybody specifically that Van Mildert want to talk to?
Yeah.
Is there an exclusive kerfuffle deal that you're offering?
Did.
David Mintz, who wasn't getting back in touch with you.
I guarantee you David Mintz will call you by the end of February. It's going to be a great call.
Or 2021.
If not on February the 14th, because he's lonely. But we've already got a deal on there, haven't we? Fantastically. I think we were saying that we've got 2 months free, which is a fantastic for anyone that comes via the Kerfuffle website to these guys. But we're going to do a special, aren't we? I think we said for the first person that writes into podcast@kerfuffle.it, we're going to give 36 months free. No, we're going to give 3 months free of charge. So you better start scribbling in, even though the show's not
new
live.
Clients only.
All right. That's one way to make your old clients sound
detail.
Have we taken the opportunity to congratulate Nick James on your?
We haven't actually, mate, and that's absolutely true. I did have it written down, so if you want to do the business, I think it's well worthwhile. Yeah, you're the people person. Look after him, but not your mate who introduced you to Rightmove.
Delighted. Obviously, I think everybody will know Nick's absolutely delighted for him and the deal that he's done with Leaders Romans, selling Magini James to him. He's an absolutely top guy, and I can't think of anyone that deserves it more. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
And on that celebratory note, we're going to wrap up season 1 of the Kerfuffle podcast, which I think has been a resounding success.
Look, everyone said it's 17 stars out of 5 on the Diane Abbott scale, so you've got to go with that, haven't you? Really.
We look forward to
or in terms of my tax return.
Well, we look forward to welcoming all our listeners back to season 2. Hopefully next week.
Stay with us.
Stay tuned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Whaley.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Everyone's kerfuffling.